Everyone watching this video ended up at the University of Northern Colorado for one reason or another. What brings us together? What unites us? Is it our common goal of making it through 4 years for that ever-elusive degree? Is it our similarities or our differences? Our shared love of the university or lack of it? As I walk through the campus, I am pulled to the buildings. They are all so different, built over different decades with different architectural styles by different people with different visions, both for the buildings and for the university. As a student, I spend so much of my day in the buildings on campus, but I never give them a second thought, never truly consider their meanings to the spirit of the university, how they make me feel. Are they truly just 4 brick walls and a physical place in time and space that we happen to be? There is so much rich history packed in all of them, history that will go by unknown by those who walk them, history that is uncared for and forgotten, despite numerous reminders thrown in our faces, in the form of display cases and artwork and informational panels lining the walls. Who really has the time to stop and read through them? I am one of those students walking those halls, paths I have walked for 3 years now. So many times I have come to the library, walked up the same stairs, passed by the same shelves, sat in the same chairs, and studied by the same windows, the view displaying the seasons passing by again and again in an endless cycle. These repeated actions remind me of my role as a college student. Even though I am a junior now, I find myself looking for a book in our school's library for the very first time. This is no easy feat. The library, massive, contains 3 floors stocked full of books that in my mind no one was interested in until the moment I arrived. Hopelessly lost was one way to describe me. Slightly embarrassed but still determined, I asked for help. Finally given instructions that don't sound like Greek to me, I carry on with my mission and travel onwards and upwards to the 3rd floor. And there I found it. In a random aisle lost in a sea of identical books, on the left side near the bottom, there was a book on a shelf that would provide me with the history I so longed to know. It was called Shaping Educational Change, the First Century of University of Northern Colorado at Greeley. Was this the answer? Was this the knowledge that would guide me to finally feeling connected to my school? I hope that the answers lay within. I walked through the library after reading the book and I saw it in a whole new light, my mind filled with the knowledge I gained. The library seemed so much more alive, so much more real. How important is a library to a college campus? If it is true that students hardly ever so much as glance at a physical book nowadays, why not just bulldoze it to the ground? I believe university libraries can be considered the heart of campus, the center of academic success. For so many, it is not just a place to study, but a way for students to establish themselves in the learning community. Studying at the library often sparks creativity and productivity in its students, and the learning environment the building provides, the atmosphere it creates, can have a meaningful impact on students' positive outlooks on UNC. If the library is so important, then how come I didn't even know who James Michener even was? Why was he so important that this grand, impressive building got to have his name forever linked to it? According to the book, Michener Library was built in the early 1970s. They named it after James Michener, who served as an associate professor of social studies and director of a dormitory at UNC from 1936 to 1940. Back when our university was known as the Colorado State College of Education. Though he taught at the college for just a few years, he left a lasting impression on the institution. He was an inspiration to his students, a vital part of the Greeley community, and his journal articles brought the college national attention. And that is why he was given the terrific honor of having the library, an all-important building on campus, named after him. What an amazing legacy, but how many students learn of it? To them, Michener is not a person, someone who walked these halls and left a lasting impact on the university. Instead, Michener is simply just the library. Should we be okay with that? Is it best to just let the past be the past? The James Michener Library became the largest single library structure in the state. The Michener Library cost a whopping $5 million, the most expensive building ever constructed at UNC at the time. Now, 20 years into the 21st century, it is clear that our library might be a tad dated. It is fairly obvious that it was built 51 years ago. The walls, shelves, flooring, even decoration all contribute to a 70s vibe, and it is more than easy to see things falling a little apart. Sure, the library has its nods to the past, murals and statues of heads and little about panels. But who takes the time to read them? Who stops to stare at the mural instead of continuing past the staircase? How many students care, really? I know that now I do, and that makes all the difference to me. So what is a university but a collection of buildings? What is a university's heart but its campus library? Are these buildings just buildings, or are they themselves what makes UNC alive and what brings students together? I suppose that is up to each individual person. I know that for me, buildings like the library are so much more. Each book was placed on that shelf for my education, each little study nook made for me and those like me, eager to learn and find our place in the world, and hoping to do so through higher education. The floors that I walk on were walked by students just like me going back 134 years. The book stated that each well-traveled path down which students and faculty walk today is marked by the footsteps of those pioneers who have gone before them. Their voices echo in the prairie wind. To them, the future is dedicated to carry the great tradition forward on new, untrodden ways.